All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Blazers Uprise post-game show. I'm Eric Brandt. With me tonight, we have a Rip City Retro edition. That is Rich Finley. He's going to try and be on here. We'll see how that goes. Uh, yeah.
I'm gonna try to be on here.
Well, I mean,
You you set the bar really low.
knowing
I, I've
our
already I've already hit it.
knowing how difficult it is sometimes to record a video, let alone do a live stream. So that's all I meant by that was
Very true.
we're hoping to bring this to you, but you could stand up and knock your internet out or something. And I guess that's not much different than Tori lately, but
It's
yeah,
true.
yeah. But anyways, got Rich joining me. Thank you for joining me, Rich. Appreciate it, and it's
Sure.
always
Thanks for having me.
good to see you. Um, and yeah, the Blazers cruised to an easy victory tonight. So it was really good to see them pull away. I don't know how you felt in the first half, but I was like, oh gosh, don't let this team hang around. And then luckily the Blazers went on a little bit of a run. They started to play actually at the end of the second quarter and got a little bit of cushion at halftime and then just came out in the third quarter and buried them. And thankfully they did that because I was not ready for another close game with the Wizards this time. I did not want it to have to come down to the end. And we got a ton of garbage time in the fourth quarter. Almost the whole fourth quarter was garbage time. So,
Yeah.
what were your thoughts on the game tonight in general? Just happy to get a win, or can you really draw much from it?
Yeah. I mean, there's really not a lot to take away from today's game. I mean, let's also not forget the fact that you brought me on today and we got our biggest win of the season.
Oh yeah, of
So I
course.
mean, there is that. I did the best I could. I mean, this is the kind of game that you really need to, take care of business, put away, nobody gets hurt. There's still a bad, I mean, at least for myself, that 3 hour stretch on Friday with the Clippers coming back against the Pacers and then
Mm.
us losing to the Mavericks on Friday night, it kind of, it took a little bit of the sting away from this end of the season chase for the eighth seed to me because it's going to be a Herculean effort to try to catch the Clips. But just in terms of taking care of business today, um, you know, I, I mean, these are the kind of games that you can't really take away a lot of good from. Just nothing bad happened today, so that's really it. But I thought Denny looked great in the first half, and I thought Scoot looked great in the first half. So it's good that they took care of business, but I was concerned for a bit, especially like when they missed their first 11 threes, so on and so forth. So, but it's good to get a win.
Yeah, the shooting was abysmal in the first half, like you mentioned. They missed a lot of threes before finally hitting a couple. But yeah, the shooting definitely was what kept the Wizards in this game. But yeah, it was nice to see Denny and Scoot. I think they combined for 29 in the first half.
I
Um,
think that's right. Yep.
so yeah, it was good to see them both get started. It was also nice to see Scoot start. You know,
Yeah.
obviously it was because of injury, but there's a couple of very vocal people in chat. I've seen both of them so far in chat tonight. So both saying how Blazers aren't developing Scoot by having him come off the bench. So I'm sure a lot of fans were excited to see Scoot out there. But yeah, Scoot. I don't know what he finished from three. I know he's 1 for 3 from the first half. I'm gonna bring up the stats on my phone because
Okay.
I can't easily bring them up on my computer when I'm running the stream, so it's a little different for me tonight. But and those that are wondering, Tori is at the Mariners baseball game. I'm not sure if it's still going or not. I think it started at 3. So he's there. He was there for the whole opening series, and we'll be driving back after the game. So no Tori tonight, but happy to have Rich here.
I did see somebody say, "Lord, please give us good internet today." From your word, from your mouth to God's ears, hopefully. hopefully things go well today.
Yeah, well, I mean, last stream, uh, once I took over, it was fine. Well, the last two streams. So yeah, we're good. Just
Okay.
because Tori's not running it today, so all the problems lately have been on Tori's end of the internet spectrum. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just jinxed it. Now we're gonna have internet problems.
Yeah, of course. Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, so Scoot ends up shooting. Oh, he finished the game 1 for 3 from three. So 6 of 11 from the field, which means he was 5 of 8 inside the arc. 21 points, 7 assists, 2 turnovers. Yeah, we'll definitely take that game from Scoot. Did
Sure.
have 4 fouls. Still can't find a way to not foul a ton, but that's okay. Um,
Yeah.
8 of 16 from Denny, 1 of 3 from three as well. Only 3 for 6 from the free throw line. That was he 4 for 9 or something last game too. That
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
not shooting the free throw well, but still getting there. Yep, had 6 boards, 5 assists, but also 4 turnovers. But yeah, he had 15 in the first half, so didn't really have to do much in the second half, thankfully. Tamani started this game off kind of slow, and then was kind of the opposite. Really took off. Um, had some really big plays in there. I think he had at one point like 8 points in a row. Um, Ended up 8 of 14 from the field, 4 of 9 from three. So really good Tamani game again. It's nice to see him have a couple of good games in recent stretches. It's not every game, but at least he's coming alive more often lately after struggling post All-Star break.
It was like one of the more it was like one of the more surprising 8 for 14 games I can ever remember. Because like he's like you said, he got off to a really slow start. And then all of a sudden you look up and he's got 23 points. So it's like, wait, how exactly did that happen?
Yeah.
But yeah, nice bounce back from missing a few threes early.
Well, there was that really nice play towards the end of the first half where Denny had a fast break and dropped it off behind his back to Money for a dunk. I think that kind of got Money going because then he hit a three right after that, and we went into the break with a little bit of cushion. But yeah, it was nice to see Tamani shoot the ball well. You know, when he struggles at the beginning of games, you're like, oh man, is he gonna just be one of those games where he doesn't contribute at all? But yeah, someone in chat, Dev says Tamani lately has been going off against crap teams. Yeah, I mean, there's part of that. I mean, I think you can probably say that about several players on our team.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's what happens also when you have a weak schedule at certain points after having a really tough schedule earlier in the season. You know, you're going to have a lot of games against crap teams too. So is it because he only has good games against crap teams, or is it just because he's having several good games, but we just happen to be playing crap teams? But we'll see.
Yeah.
But what did you think of Tamani and Denny, our forwards, tonight?
I mean, you know, Denny looked really good to me in the first half. This is, you know, one of the probably maybe the second or third game now since the back trouble where I've really felt like Denny was pretty comfortable out there. I watched your guys' last show where you were talking a lot about Denny chirping at the refs way too much on Friday night. You're absolutely right. I thought the exact same thing when I watched the game. And it just seemed like he was a lot more focused today. Obviously, we didn't need much from him in the second half. So it was nice to be able to get him some rest because clearly, because of the stretch run and also the 65 game requirement, things like that, like Denny's going to play out the string this season. So it was good. It was good to see him moving like that, and you know, good to see him being really productive. And you know, we just talked about Tumani as well. So yeah, I mean, very happy with both guys today.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest takeaways of the game. I mean, he did a couple times, but it was drastically different this game. And I know we were playing the Wizards, and we, ended up being up by a lot in the third quarter. So there wasn't the tense moments like last game had, where we had to play 4 quarters, and it was came down to the end in clutch moments. But for the most part, Denny did a much better job, I thought, of calming his emotions and not going all crazy, getting back on defense and stuff like that. And
I I wanna talk to you about something that you said on Friday because I thought you were dead on with this. I think you're exactly right that the complaining that other players have done about Denny getting foul calls and things like that. I definitely think that with a combination of having a back injury and you don't feel 100%, so there's a little bit of frustration there as well. But I think you're absolutely right. I think Denny is feeling now when he's not getting calls that he feels he should get. It just kind of feels like he's got a chip on his shoulder now because the rest of the league has put the spotlight on him and he's not getting calls that he was getting earlier. I thought that was a great take on your part Friday, and I agree with you. And if he thinks the whistles aren't great now, it's going to get even worse by the time we get to a play-in, and then if
yeah,
they have the opportunity to play a second playing game, play in the playoffs, like these are the kind of things that you have to learn to play through as a player who has gotten the benefit of a lot of whistles. But I think a lot of his frustration lately and complaining to the refs is exactly what you called out on Friday.
yeah, I actually really, I thought Tori kind of downplayed it a little bit, but I do think the refs play. They're human, and
Yeah.
the perception does play a big role. And there was a huge shift around the All Star break to where, oh, Denny's not doing this legitly, and not that those people are right or anything. There was the Houston game in, I think it was in January, where um, it was Tari Eason called him out
Oh yeah.
for the calls he was getting. He had that game, the game we should have lost where we were up 15 with like 2 minutes left against the Kings, and we got that call with was it like less than a second left or something, and he got
Right.
the free throws, and so uh, it started to mount, and I feel like it became a talking point on a lot of social media and stuff, that there just became a lot of stuff, and it's hard because, not to get into this part of it, but the stuff that's going on in Israel right now and in that area of the world also like factors into a lot of these conversations. So it's hard to know if people are just bashing him because of that, or because of foul. They really think he's a foul
I
grifter.
see. I see. I
So
thought for a second, I was like, are you saying the refs are anti-war?
no,
I was like, what are you
no.
saying?
What I'm saying is, like, so all these like
No, I get it. I
social
get it.
media
They're
accounts, like,
they're
yeah,
conflating. They're
yeah,
conflating.
yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I get
So
it.
like you see these things like, oh, like national media type people saying, oh, Denny's only an all-star because he's a foul grifter or whatever. And it's hard to know if they're
Or
just
or worse. Right.
yeah, basing it on the politics side or the actual watching him play. Like, how many Blazer basketball games are they actually watching? Because I
Right.
never felt like, I mean, Denny is definitely trying to get foul calls. Like, he's definitely going for fouls.
Yeah.
But he also, I don't feel like he fakes being fouled like SGA sometimes. And I have no issue with SGA either. Like if you can get to the line 30 times in a game, do it, right? Like, there's no issue with that. So,
Hey, listen. One of my favorite videos is the LeBron not getting hit in the face compilation.
oh
Like,
right, yeah. Where he
have
just
you
fakes,
seen that?
yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah. And you're right. I mean, we're about 5 minutes away from conspiracy videos of whether Benjamin Netanyahu controls the NBA. like,
Right.
like there's all that out there. So yeah, I agree with you. But going back to like when you and I were young and getting into the NBA, this is the reason that like people like Phil Jackson and Pat Riley, like especially during playoff time, why they work the refs through the media and all of that talking. It's not because they genuinely anticipate a different whistle in the next game, but it's just human nature to be on the lookout for things, even if you're unbiased. So, I actually anticipated because there were a lot of people being asked around the league, like, what do you think about Denny Avdia becoming an all-star and things like that. So I kind of anticipated this a little bit that his fouls would come down a little bit.
Yeah. But like, so he does create contact. So there is the debate, I think, whether or not he should get called for fouls if he's creating the contact. And I think that's a legit debate. But I don't think you can legitimately watch him play and say he's getting calls by like he'll go up for a shot and just flail his arms or something like certain players do, where they're getting a call based on faking out the referee into thinking he got fouled. I think Denny gets a lot of calls just because he creates so much contact, and there is contact there. He's a tough player to officiate. I mean, we grew up in a time where there were several players that were a lot more difficult, especially once Shaq came into the league. Like how you officiate that type of thing. But I think there has been some adjustment to how much they call. I think they don't call as many of the little contact or the little bumps if Denny's creating it. And then, and two, the back injury has caused him to maybe slow down a little bit, so he's not going full speed all the time, so it's not creating some of the contact he was. So yeah, there's lots of factors, but I do think that the refs kind of question whether they should believe he's really getting fouled this many times in a game or not, and it started to affect their calls a little bit. And then, they review all their calls after a game and stuff like that, especially at the last 2 minutes and stuff in a close game. Those reports become public, and then I don't know how much all of that weighs, like what percentage, but I think it all contributes. But I do think Denny could, I mean, he could still get to the line. He still gets to the line quite a bit, only 6 times tonight, but that's because we didn't really have to play half the game.
It's a big blowout, right?
But yeah, we saw the stats if you watch the Blazer broadcast today. From Tom was at the game doing the broadcast, and he was showing all kinds of stats about Denny's free throws per 100 possessions and where his free throw attempt ranks among forwards and usage rate and all this stuff. So I think he's still getting to the line a ton. So even though it seems like it has gone down a little bit, I don't think it's to the point where he should be egregiously blowing up at refs after every missed shot if there's not a call. And so thankfully tonight, I thought he did a much better job of like honing his emotions a little bit and being more focused on the job at hand.
Well, I also think, going forward, depending on what the team does with the coaching position, I mean, we can kind of kick that around a little bit tonight because you and I haven't talked about that very much. But, whoever they would get in here as the next head coach, that's probably going to be a personality who's going to be much, much stronger at fighting for his guys to get calls and things like that. So, I think Denny will have a little bit more of a vocal advocate on the sidelines in terms of making sure that he gets his calls. Not to mention the fact that, Dame will be back next year. And of course, Dame will be working the refs, not only for himself, but for his guys as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I don't know. Like, Tiago is he is a former NBA player. I mean, he did play in this league, so, I mean, it is, he could be a guy who advocates more for his guys. But Chauncey wasn't really that way either. Like Chauncey, I mean,
Well,
Chauncey would work the refs, but he was never like the type that would be like just in your face, get a technical type of player.
yeah.
Maybe when someone has to, rig illegal poker games for money, they care about getting fined $1,000 if you get a technical or something. But for some reason, but like yeah,
He's like that's an ante. I can't. That's an ante up. Like,
but no, I don't know. I think Denny just needs to calm down a little bit when he's playing, and I thought tonight he did that. So hopefully this is the way he treats it moving forward. I still think, during a timeout, you can go to the ref and say, hey, I'm getting fouled on these drives. You're missing them. Like, can you please watch for it? And you can get, the refs back in your court that way. I don't like the not getting back on defense and just standing there screaming and turning to the ref and stuff like that.
Of course.
That can cost your team games and stuff like that, which I mean, you could argue it did on Friday. Yeah, I mean, we need him to be at his best, and I know that's probably not 100% possible with his back right now. As someone who's dealt with back injuries for you, Rich, you probably know or feel for him in this situation, trying to battle through back injuries in the middle of a season. But yeah, he's just got to kind of deal with it. And the other thing is too, I mean, if you're getting the line, you got to start making more of your free throws. And I know he was like an 80% free throw shooter going into the last few games, but the last two especially have not been pretty from the line, and got to make more when you get there as well, especially when every possession matters and the playoffs are playing.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I just think it's a little bit of an anomaly. So.
Yeah. Marv says, I'd rather have a passionate player take that every time over a guy just thinking about his next contract.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that has to be the case. When you're talking about arguing with the refs. I mean, and to be fair to Denny, like almost every good player somewhat argues with the ref. Some are more demonstrative than others, but there's almost every player that gets to the line the amount that Denny gets or more. There is a level of complaining or arguing a lot.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as Tristan points out, Dame even had that at some point where he was getting caught arguing a lot. Anthony and Shaden last year had a couple of games where I felt like they got a little too irritated at the refs. Which in Shaden's case, it was cool to actually see him show emotion on the court, so maybe I didn't mind that as much. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I think there's like a balance. You can do it, and you can get calls, or you can be like the type of person that whines or does stuff to the refs, but I think there's certain spots you have to pick to do that. And I felt like it's kind of getting away from Denny there, but luckily tonight he didn't. But yeah,
and it also depends on who you are, right? I mean, the last 6, 7, 8 years of watching Jokic, like, oh my gosh, like he complains on just about every play. But he's a multi-time MVP, so you would take that if he were on our team.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yep. Kirk says he likes the rock climbing wall behind you, Rich.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's just insulation.
Insulation, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in a room that has a very high ceiling. And if I didn't have it, like, it would just be echoing like crazy. But Yes, I wish it was a rock wall. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But
Um, yeah. So yeah, did you have any other like major takeaways from this game? It's really hard when you win by so much, and half the game is just trying to like
yeah,
think about what to do.
yeah. I mean, the wind. I mean, at least for myself, like I had started. I mean, you know this. We've been texting about this a little bit. I had started doing okay. Here's our schedule. Here's Golden State's schedule. Here's the Clippers schedule, and I started looking at potential wins and losses. And if people out there don't know the Warriors' schedule, which I'm sure pretty much everybody here probably has looked at it, their schedule to close the season is just ridiculous. Like it's an unbelievably crazy schedule that may be a little bit more manageable just because of like people sitting guys. But I I really thought we had a shot at 8, and with losing on Friday night, and then just also like the Clippers winning a game or two here or there that you thought we might get an opportunity for them to lose, like it's just taken a little bit of the wind out of my sails in terms of the scoreboard watching and things like that. But I you know the group that Golden State is putting out there right now, like I don't know how you feel, but like when I watch them play, I'm just like they don't. I mean, they're going to make the play-in. They can't help but make the play-in statistically, obviously. But I don't know what kind of effort they're necessarily going to put out there in a 9-10 game.
Well,
So I
there's
I know for myself, and I'm sure a lot of other people here, I'm rooting I'm rooting for a Blazers Suns elimination game. So you and that you guys and the guys that cover the Suns Valley podcast guys, so you guys can go at it in a watch along. I think that would be a lot of fun.
yeah, I don't know. Those games, I get pretty intense on those. I don't really like to be distracted by so having to like show my face on camera or something. But maybe. Um, but yeah, it's tough though because if you don't move up to 8, you have to win 2 games. You can't
Yeah.
lose one or you're out. Um, but yeah, it's tough.
What is your?
but
Let me
well,
ask you a question.
those
Let me ask you a question. Uh, what is your nightmare scenario for the end of this season? And let's take somebody getting injured out of the equation because we don't even want to think about something like that. But but what would be your nightmare scenario going into the off season in terms of like wins, losses, whether they make the playoffs or not? What is your nightmare scenario? I'll tell you mine, but you could tell me yours.
well, real quick, I just want to mention with the Warriors. One Steph Curry could be back for them for the play-in. So I
Yeah,
guess the nightmare scenario for me would be watching him go off for like 45 against us like he has in the playoffs before and us losing to a very mediocre Golden State team and then, you know, having to go the whole summer wondering like did we just make the play because the bottom half of the West absolutely sucked by default, which is kind of the case. But yeah, I don't know, but I would with every bad scenario, Rich, it's hard for me to say like this is the worst case scenario because then I could say, well, at least then we get our draft pick this year. We don't lose it to the Bulls, or
right.
So I think it would be really cool to because it looks like we're. I mean, short of us beating the Clippers both times, and then we need some luck as well. We don't control our own destiny anymore. So like short of that happening, getting the 8 seed kind of being the best case scenario right now. The worst case scenario to me is just completely unraveling and losing games like the Dallas game and just looking like complete garbage and then flailing out in one game in the play-in against the hapless Golden State team and just looking like we didn't even belong in the play-in. So that's probably the worst case. But like I said, silver lining, we'd keep a draft pick and a pretty good draft. So I don't know if it's necessarily the worst case, because then also, we go into next season with most likely a new coach, if not a whole new front office as well. So I think there's some positives that can happen. The worst, I think, actually, now that I think about it, would be them justifying giving Thiago a big contract because
that is exactly it.
We win the 9-10 against the hapless Warriors team. Maybe Curry doesn't even play in that game. And then we win that game just by sheer fact that we're like we were playing a garbage lineup, and then just happen to beat, win one game against the loser of the 7-8 game, and then they base their whole summer off that one thing of getting into the playoffs. So
you get like a gentleman's sweep to the San Antonio Spurs, and then everybody, the Blazers, like break up the Blazers. Yes, that is my nightmare scenario.
Yeah,
that is. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to root for it all along the way. I want to see the team, qualify for the playoffs. I think playoff basketball would be fun. But I can see how that can go wrong, because sometimes organizations, and our organization has done this, we have taken away the wrong lessons sometimes when things have worked out our way, like injury-wise. Like you mentioned, if we played, say, Golden State in the 9-10 game, Curry doesn't play, or he's limited or re-injures himself or something like that, and we win that game, then we move on, so on and so forth. Like, what I'm afraid of, it's different, obviously, because in this scenario I'm going to reference, we actually won a round. But I've always thought about 2016. I've always thought about, the Clippers losing Chris Paul and Blake Griffin within minutes of each other in the first round, when the Blazers played the Clippers in the first round in 2016. And then we end up winning that series in 6 games, but their 2 best players were out. And then we go on to the second round. We play the Golden State Warriors, who won 73 games. We played them in 5 really competitive games, but we still lost 4-1. Stop me if you've heard this before, because we couldn't close against Golden State. But then we go into that offseason and we just extended everybody. Like, we extended Harkless, we extended Al-Farouq Aminu. Like it just we didn't learn the right lessons from that postseason run. It was kind of like, we're good. All we need to do is let these guys continue to gel a little bit together. And I do like when an organization gives a young team the opportunity to do that. But I felt like winning that first round in 2016 was a little bit of fool's gold, because we might have shaken things up a little bit more drastically had we not won that round. I mean, you and I were talking back then, but I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I agree. I mean, I do feel like, that Clippers series, we were up in Game 4, about to tie the series 2-2 when those 2 players got hurt.
Yeah.
So who knows what happens those last 3 games? We could have still won the series even if they didn't get hurt. But it did kind of signify that. And that's been one of my biggest issues with going back to that season, pretty much, or even 2 seasons before that, when they made the first run in Dame's second year. They get to the second round as well. And then, they don't really add a ton that offseason. They don't really do much. I think we added Kaman and Steve Blake that summer, and
yeah, that's right.
And it's, I mean,
Kaman, and then you trade for Afflalo during the season.
Yeah, you trade for Afflalo during the season, but up until that point, we went 5 months of the season with like one of the worst statistical benches of all time, and
Yeah.
had like no depth. Our starting lineup was awesome, but there has been a history since then of the Blazers just kind of being like, oh, and this goes into what I've been talking about on a game to game basis as well. Like every time it feels like we have some momentum to take that next step, it always seems to be like complacency sets in, and you think you have enough to make that next step, and you probably don't if you're being honest, but they think they do. And so, yeah, I think they do need to go back to. They need to have a mindset no matter what happens this season, it can't be good enough for next season. They have to continually improve the roster. And they can't just be like, oh, we like we only lost 4-2 to the Thunder or something like that. Like they're the defending champions. Like we're on that means we can be a contender next year with this exact lineup. Like no, you need to add something so you can beat the Thunder or whatever. So, and that's where like this talk about the draft pick comes in. I know there's this particular person who is very vocal in chat also about making sure we do not make the playoffs, so we keep that pick. But here's the thing. The Blazers are not trying to avoid making the playoffs this year. That is their goal, to make the playoffs, to not only make this play-in, but to make the playoffs. So it's kind of funny when people who want to praise certain GMs or certain teams for the job they did or whatever, but if they fail at the goal they had, then it being a good thing, or that's okay, we can say, oh, it's fine because we kept the pick, so maybe they wanted to keep their pick. There's always like an excuse or whatever, and I want to get to the point where it's not okay if we don't make the playoffs, or it's not okay if we don't accomplish our goals that are sitting there right in front of us, right? So they need to keep adding to this team. It's obviously not good enough. Like, and I know we got Dame next year, so that'll help a little bit, despite what someone else says, or that same person says in chat. But we got Dame, but that it can't just be like, oh, we're gonna add Dame to this, and that's gonna put us over the top. You know, like we need to keep on adding to it and making sure we don't get that complacency set in to where we feel like we're arrived and we're ahead of schedule and we're just got to keep building and developing or whatever.
Well, it's also first off, it's irresponsible as a franchise to, put a player at that age coming off that injury at that position and just pencil him in for, oh, well, we've got Dame, he's just going to be Dame. Like, Dame's an X factor for next year. Like I think most of us, I don't know who the person is in chat that you're talking about, but most of us, I think, believe in him as a person and a human being. It remains to be seen whether he's going to be able to, come back to be close to his old self. Obviously, he can still shoot the ball. I mean, he won the 3-point shootout, but
did you see the thing where he made 1,000 of 1,090 shots on the?
No, I did not hear that.
So he posted a picture on social media today. It was of so the Blazers have this machine that like it actually
feeds in the ball.
Well, no, it like keeps track of how many shots you take, how many you make, but it gives you a percentage on each shot, like how the arc is and all this stuff. Like,
oh wow!
So like it'll tell you, like you can keep on shooting and tell you what it deems as the perfect shot with the perfect amount of arc and the perfect angle into the basket or whatever. But yeah, he shot So he shot 1,090 shots and made 1,000 of them. So he only missed 90 shots out of almost 1,100 shots. From this is like 3-point shots.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Wow.
right?
No, I had not heard that.
Yeah. So yeah, we have that shooting coming back. That'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, but like you said, I mean, how much better to be Cronin advocate for a second? How much better is it going to be for Cronin going into his, you know, future meetings with the new owner to be able to say, we built to this level, we made the playoffs. I mean, it's going to be the exact same for Tiago. Like Tiago being handed a really difficult situation and then being able to say that he's a playoff coach. So, like all of these kind of things, like you can appreciate how badly those guys would want this, regardless of whether on our side, and we're still rooting for us to make the playoffs. But I think no matter what happens, whether it's we make the playoffs and then, you get guys like Denny and Klingon and Scoot get an opportunity to get some postseason action. And that's always beneficial. Even if you're not projected to go very far, it's still good to get your feet wet in that way. And then if somehow things don't go well and they don't make the playoffs, then they get their draft pick. So, there's a little bit of a silver lining no matter what happens this year. I just, I'm a very positive person. So like when Cronin got the job, I was willing to give him a chance. I was like, I hope he does well, same with Tiago. Like there was a lot of buzz and you were the one that told me about it. A lot of buzz around Tiago, getting into the coaching ranks in the NBA about what he had done overseas as a coach, ironically with his innovative offenses and things like that. So I wanted him to do very well. After having almost a full season to see what Tiago can do, I'm kind of on the side of like, okay, I think we need to go a different direction coaching wise. And I kind of hope that we do, but that's nothing negative or disparaging against Tiago or the current coaching staff or anything like that. There are times where this season, the task has been a little bit too big for this coaching staff. The moment has been a little bit too big for them. And I don't know. I kind of feel like we would be a little bit better off if we ended up getting a new coaching staff. And I just tried to fill a lot of time while you were looking off camera. So
Yeah, my
welcome
oldest
back.
daughter was leaving, but
Okay.
yeah. So yeah,
I was just talking about it's. I feel like it's
I'm gonna
time.
listen to most of it.
I feel like it's time to go. Yeah, in a different direction, coaching wise.
Yeah, but it would also be a very Blazery thing to do to just be like, oh, you know what?
Oh.
He did a nice job. It was tough. this
Absolutely.
season. Let's
Yeah.
just keep him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Luckily, though, a new owner doesn't have that. They don't have that obligation to show that kind of loyalty.
yeah, that's the one thing giving me hope this off season is that it lines up too perfectly to just bring in a new coach.
Yeah.
You thank Tiago. He obviously was not expecting to be the head coach all season, or 81 games of the season, and so yeah, good job filling in. He did his good.
Well, you also though you don't want to fall in that trap of, well, this is his first foray into the NBA, so he needs a little time to learn the league. Like, you don't want to fall into that trap either.
Yeah.
With a new owner.
Yeah, exactly. So it fits too perfectly to just start that part fresh and bring in someone that has some experience.
Who Eric? Tell me through you guys on Blazers Uprise. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just did. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
Who is the consensus coach that the people want, and is that different than who you want?
Well, there's a lot of
Like,
big
do
names
you have
out.
a do you have a short do you have a short list?
There's a lot of big names out there. I think if you probably did a poll, which I could do, I think Mike Malone probably wins that poll, just because he's got championship experience, obviously. But I really like Taylor Jenkins, the former Memphis Grizzlies coach. I felt
I
like
like him too.
he got kind
Yeah.
of a raw deal with the John Morant situation, and that team had a lot of injuries and stuff. But he even with the injuries, there are a couple of those seasons where he kept that team fighting and playing really hard. He also was a kind of guy who would get on his players a little bit, but the players seemed to like him outside of Jaw. Um, but
He
yeah,
feels like more of a Portland guy than Malone would feel,
yeah.
in my opinion.
See, here's the problem though, Rich. We just talked about new ownership coming in and all that stuff. And fans get caught up in this all the time. And when we drafted Donovan Clingan, and there was those flirts with Dan Hurley, and the NBA apparently turned down a huge contract from the Lakers. But then we had for months like, oh, let's just go get Klingan's college coach and bring him in here. And he just turned down like an $80 million or some contract with the Lakers. And like, so we're going to outbid the Lakers and we're going to pay like top highest coaching dollars for a coach to come in. That is not happening. And Dundon is not going to come in and pay what it takes. So I would actually be shocked if Mike Malone was our head coach next year, or any like super big name, because he's having trouble coming up with the financing for just buying 80% of the team by the end of March, like the deal is for. So let alone, I don't see him giving a coach 10 million a year or something like it might take to get some of those. And I think Taylor Jenkins might fall just under that, like in that sweet range where you can maybe justify paying him, but it's not going to cost you like top dollar to get him.
Yeah, and UConn's coach is going to be a lot more expensive after today. My God.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw the end of UConn Duke, but
I saw the Duke had the ball. They turned the ball over at half court when they could have just held the ball out and waited to get fouled. And for some reason,
just get fouled. Just get fouled. My goodness. Is there anybody? Is there anybody in the coaching ranks who has never been a coach before, but you would be up for it?
I don't know. I mean, like,
and by coach I mean head coach, obviously.
Yeah, there's some precedent lately. Phoenix's coach this year, Ott. I forget his first name, but he's been doing obviously an awesome job in Phoenix. Lee with the Hornets was the first time head coach. Will Hardy in Utah, I think, despite Utah sucking in the last couple of years, I think he is a really good coach. Mm-hmm. And so I think you can find guys like that. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to identify so I see a couple of names in chat, Sam Cassell and
Sam is always the big one to me. I don't know what the deal is. Like, what is the deal? Like, why? I don't understand why Sam Cassell has not already been coaching in the league. I mean, he's an assistant coach, obviously,
he's interviewed for so many jobs. Yeah,
I don't get it. I don't get it because that guy was super smart, knew how to run a team. Mm-hmm. He has no problem being vocal. So I keep waiting for him to get a job. Like, I'm rooting for him.
Do you get kind of Billups vibes with him, though?
I'm sorry, say again?
Do you get any Billups vibes with him? Like, it's just...
Not with Sam.
He's got a lot more experience, but yeah.
Yeah, I would have way less concerns about Sam Cassell being a Chauncey clone. Because Chauncey Chauncey was more like, oh, everybody loves Chauncey. Cassell was an irritant. Like, Cassell did not care about getting under guys' skin and things like that. So yeah, I don't get it. I haven't heard anything bad about why Cassell hasn't gotten a job. I'm rooting for him too. He would be one of the few guys. Obviously, Stackhouse comes up all the time. He would be another one. I would say, kind of outside of those two guys, then count me in for Taylor Jenkins, because I really, other than those two guys who I believe in, I really wouldn't want to see us go any other direction.
Yeah, I mean, so the other name mentioned in chat is Chris Quinn, who's been a longtime assistant, former NBA player with the Heat.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a Spoelstra disciple. Um, yeah, I mean, would I have an issue with any of those guys? No. Definitely wouldn't. But I don't know. Like, it's so weird for me, Rich. Like, in the past, I've always lean towards don't get a retread. No, like Mike Malone's had a couple chances. I know he succeeded in one of them, but there's a reason why he got let go from there. And a lot of the retreads, like Phoenix had two of them in 2 straight years, Budenholzer and Vogel. Those they both got a year each in Phoenix. There's a lot of coaches that like I just was like, no, I'd rather just take my chance. That's why I never had a problem with the Billups thing, even though he had no experience. There was like a high upside to it, and he said all the right things. He just didn't know how to implement them and get his players to perform the way he wanted to play. So
Well, but he was never meant to be the kind of coach that he was forced to be when he came here. Like, he
that's
came in here as like the missing piece, a different voice
mhm.
among a veteran team, and then it turned into a rebuild on the fly for him. That's not
Yeah,
to that's not to make
right.
excuses for him or defend him, but I
Mhm.
mean, it's facts.
Yeah, that's true. I just like no matter how it turned out, because inevitably we'll have people like, let's just say a new coach struggles next year. They'll say, "See, should have kept Tiago." It doesn't mean we should have kept Tiago, right? Or it like
Right.
it doesn't mean we should have kept Chauncey to an extension if we, or should have kept Chauncey if, let's just say, he got fired and didn't get arrested. But then, like Stotts had 9 years here, but we still heard people like, "See, should have never gotten rid of Stotts." Like, he had 9 years. It's not like he didn't get a fair shake here or something like. Um,
Yeah.
so I've always been the type that doesn't mind like the high upside play. Like if you find your Mark Diagonalt or Will Hardy or whatever, then you're set for a decade, and you can just roll with that. But um, something about this situation, Rich, it's different to me. Like,
You're
uh,
leaning a little more towards a retread.
yeah, I'm almost like talking myself into some of chat suggestions that like a Tom Thibodeau. Like, what would that look like for him to just come in and be a red ass on defense and just get on everyone's case and play him 40 minutes? Like, I know that wouldn't be best for like the Blazers long term, but like,
Yeah.
what would this personnel look like? You got Drew Holiday, you got Denny, who should be a decent defender, you got Tamani Kamara, who should be all defensive first team. In
You
the
got an athlete,
you
an athlete in Shaden.
Yeah, you got
Yeah. Yeah.
Klingon, who can be your rim protecting center and all this stuff. You got all these pieces. Like, what would that look like under a defensive mastermind like that? I kind of want to see that, and so like I could even be talked into that right now, and I would never say that in the past. Like when the last coaching, in 2021, if we would have hired someone like Thibodeau, I would have been like so pissed. But like I don't know, like someone who knows how to coach defense, and that's not going to be the reason why this team isn't good. Then you can say, oh, it's definitely the roster, like it's just not working roster wise.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that this time around. Um, But then you have like Mike Malone. I think he got screwed in Sacramento. I feel like
Oh,
he
100%.
he should have.
That was such a weird firing.
Yeah, he should have gotten longer there. But in Denver, it's kind of like in the NFL where you know you have all these coaching changes, but the coaches that do well, they find a quarterback, right? Like they get their franchise quarterback, and you're kind of tied to them. And there's Belichick with Brady is the prime example of that. But
Oh
just
yeah.
this year, Mike Vrabel goes to New England, and he's got Drake May who has a good season, and there's certain
Well,
coaches.
it's even like somebody in the chat said Monty Williams, but then you got to look at Monty had CP3
Yeah.
like running that team and leading them to the finals and directing traffic and things like that. So like once he got away from that group, look what happened with Monty in Detroit. So Monty would not, and Alex Wolf, I love you to death. I always love the fact that Alex Wolf will name every single person who has coached in the last 20
Yeah.
years
Right.
in the chat,
Yeah. Yeah.
including the ridiculous suggestions.
Right. Yeah.
I love you, Alex.
See, Monty, even though he has Blazer ties and stuff like that,
Yeah, of
anytime
course.
anytime you sign that big of a contract, that was what, like 80 to 100 million or something, and Detroit fires him after one season. Like they
I thought
literally
it was like 5 years, 65, or was it more than that? I don't
something
know.
like that. Yeah, maybe it was
Yeah,
65, but yeah.
yeah.
So they paid him basically 60 some $1 million to go away after one
No
season.
way.
Like, and it was the
I.
Detroit Pistons. It wasn't like it was like the
It's
Oklahoma
not the
City
Pistons
Thunder,
now.
like yeah,
Right.
like a
Right.
team that was on the cusp of a championship. Like they were absolutely dreadful the season before him and the season with him. So it's not like it was like, wow, he massively failed here with this talented roster that should have been a title contender or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And it ended up like, and then they hire another retread, Jamie Bickerstaff, and he ends up being a good coach for them somehow, and they make the playoffs in his first year and take that jump. Would they have made that jump if they just kept Monty? Who knows? But anytime a team after one season pays you that much money to just go away and not be around the franchise anymore after basing your whole offseason about acquiring you and doing everything possible to convince you to come to Detroit, anytime that happens, I'm just like, whoa, that makes me uneasy to think about him as an option. So I don't really like
Oh
that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's why. I mean, please no Bud, please no Vogel. I don't need
Mm,
to hear about these are championship coaches or anything like that. Like no,
yeah.
please. Like don't need it.
Yeah, I was really surprised Taylor Jenkins didn't get a job last summer.
Yeah, I
I
don't get it.
but he's the type that he's been in one situation, and he was doing great until John Morant had some major both injury and off court issues. So, um,
I never really heard the justification for getting rid of him. Is that just a somebody has to take the fall for this lack of organizational control and it's going to be Jenkins? I mean, I never really heard like he wasn't well liked or anything like that. And anytime you get a coach like that that's going to have his guys pretty much keep things together while Jaw is out for such a significant period of time, those are the kind of coaches that you want. Like those aren't the kind of coaches that have bad reputations. So I still never really quite understood why they let him go, unless it was simply a him or me situation coming from Jaw, which we know happens. So
well,
maybe it was as simple as that.
the rumor was that um, so their coach now, I forgot Lasalo or something like that. I'm not pronouncing it right, but the rumor was that he came in as an assistant and started getting in Jaw's ear about how um, you should get more pick and rolls and more touches as the star
Oh,
player and stuff,
wow.
and so then Jaw and Taylor's relationship started to splinter as well.
So
Um,
he was like the Jaw hype man.
right,
Like, oh,
but then
you
he
should be running
became
more pick and roll, Jaw.
but then he became coach, and now like Jaw was like then complaining about him once he became head coach now too. So like it's to me it just seems like Jaw's a tough player to coach or whatever.
Hmm,
I don't think he was
maybe
early in his career, but like
maybe Jaw's the
lately,
problem.
yeah.
Uh,
And then they couldn't even trade him. Like they had teams saying, "No, you have to give us a first. We're not giving you a first for John Morant." When they tried to trade him at the trade deadline, so yeah, there was like no market for him. So to me, that shows that maybe Taylor Jenkins wasn't the problem and got a raw deal, but
yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
yeah. I mean, we can move off the coach talk. I mean, we could kick that around forever, but
Well, Marv
but
wants us to talk about Van Gundy before we stop.
oh yeah, go ahead.
I just, I mean, would I hate it? Probably not, but I just when he went to broadcasting for so long and stuff like that, I just feel like he's fine as an assistant, but I don't know if I'd want him to be the head coach now. Like that's one of those guys where I think the game might have passed him by a little bit, and so um, I think
Maybe he meant Stan.
no, I don't. I was basis on both of them. I don't. I don't want either of them. Yeah.
So you're just out on any Van Gundy, like the head football coach of Oklahoma State. Like you're just out.
Oh, he got fired too.
Okay, so you don't want him either.
No.
Okay.
Um. So Marv says, "Too old, really? Come on, guess the Spurs should have fired Pop 10 years ago. Come on, dude. You come on. Like, that's not what I'm saying. It's not saying it's too old, but it's tough to go from broadcasting. I know he's an assistant this year with the Clippers, but it's tough to go from broadcasting that long out of the coaching realm to go back into it. I don't know. It just to
Do
me, I'd
you
rather have a more
remember?
established current coach.
Do you remember what it was like when Hubie Brown came back to coaching?
Yeah, of course.
That
Which
that
time?
was well, no, the
The
last time
last time, yeah.
when he won Coach of the Year with the Grizzlies.
Hmm.
I was so happy for him.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
that was they won 50 games, and I mean they had never won anything. So yeah, so I mean there's one for the old guys, and as the old guy on the stream, I want to rep the old guys. Somebody said Doug Collins in the chat. I mean that again, I mean it's interesting to me, like you know you start thinking of like the next head coach of the Blazers. You gotta really be looking at, okay, this is a coach that you want around for 5, 6, 7 years, right? Like it's not just who do you want to coach us next season,
Hmm.
but who can Klingon and Denny continue to grow with and mature with going forward. So you know if I had Jeff Van Gundy for a season and I was going to battle for a season with Jeff Van Gundy, I'd be happy with that. But like in the bigger picture, like I don't know. Um, I don't see them going that direction. I don't see them kind of going for quite an old retread like that, especially with a new owner.
Yeah. See, now we're just naming random names. Billy
Somebody said
Donovan.
Brandon Roy would be cheap.
Yeah.
So
I know he's got high school experience, but he has no like pro experience. I really wouldn't mind Brandon Roy being involved in the organization again, but um, I don't know. That's like I said, Jenkins is that sweet spot where he still has a lot to prove and he's still young enough to have that energy and
It's
stuff to
not going to
do
be
it.
super expensive.
But you also have like a baseline of what to expect from him too. So like, yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, he's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. So yeah, I think you're right.
Allison thinks we're probably gonna stick with Splitter if we win a playing game. Yeah,
Mm, we'll see. We'll
yeah.
see. What chances do you give the Blazers to win on Tuesday? Is it Tuesday or yeah, it's Tuesday,
Yeah, it's
right?
Tuesday.
At the
Yeah.
Clippers. Here in LA where I am. Am I going to the game? No, I am not.
um. Well, we have to talk about the injury situation, but I'd probably say like 30%. We just have not played the Clippers well with Kawhi.
Yeah,
Um.
we never seem to do well, especially here.
Yeah.
Like I mean here by here I'm sorry. I mean Los Angeles where I'm at. Yeah.
So we
And
got.
I always get geared up too. Whenever we play the Clippers, I'm like, this is it. Like we're ready to bust through and beat the. Oh
This
no,
time.
yeah. So
I want to bring this up, the injury report.
okay,
Um. So I don't
am
know
I
if
on it?
I don't know if you get like this, Rich, but it kind of drives me crazy. I mean, for those that watch the show regularly, this is gonna come as no surprise for you. But how does a player go from being like questionable for like 3 games to doubtful for a couple games to back to questionable, then is completely out? Like, what what is going on there? Like what? Like without once again, you're not informing us of him re-injuring or coming like getting a separate injury. So why, like a day before the game, is he already being ruled out when he was questionable just a couple? And I'm talking about Vit Krejci here. Um,
Yeah.
like it's kind of crazy uh the just the injury report shenanigans with this team. And now for some reason, so Jeremy Grant has testing done that was 2 days ago, but they're awaiting further. They want to do different tests before they announce how long he'll be out or whatever. Like, okay, thanks.
But the expectation is that it's bad, right? Like
I mean, he felt a pop, and then you know, Klingon said, or not Klingon, Tiago said after last game that he was 100% worried about him. So, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I you know, the I mean, we should ask Chauncey about the injury report shenanigans. I'll never quite
All right.
understand it.
Yeah. So
So
they listed Jeremy as having a calf strain. Um, hey, that sounds familiar, doesn't it, Rich?
yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, and look, I mean, guys want to be careful on that, especially with those calf injuries.
Hmm.
I mean, they could easily turn into an Achilles and things like that. So, I mean, willing to give the benefit of the doubt to a guy who I saw somebody in chat said maybe they're looking into maybe they want a second opinion on potentially getting surgery, and that could be very true. I think you can do both. I think you can extend grace towards the player, but at the same time, kind of raise your eyebrow a little bit at the organization for what they're doing with the injury reports. I
Yeah,
think you can do both.
and what did Shaden go from a calf strain to a sprain to a stress reaction in his fibula? Like, man, it's
Yeah, what is the latest on him?
I don't know.
Any potential back for a playing game or anything like that, or just nothing at this point?
A few games ago on the Blazers broadcast, they maybe they got in trouble for this or something, but they started talking about Sharp like he was close to coming back and that they were just
Mm,
awaiting some good news that should be coming out like soon. And then not a peep since then, right? Like nothing about Shaden Sharp really. So
mm,
I don't know, man.
all right.
You never know. I mean, you would think he's probably close to coming back, but with him and Jeremy and stuff, like I wouldn't be surprised if they just set out the rest of the season either.
Yeah. Um, I mean, this is, I mean, obviously, how little we've talked about the game today because the game was, got out of hand as it should have, quite frankly, earlier. But it got out of hand in the third quarter. Um, what else? What else can we talk about today? Hey, I've got a question for you. So I heard you talking about the draft and all this rumbling about changes to the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And my understanding on listening to the show on Friday, you are not for this midseason crap, right? Like you're not for that, right?
What midseason stuff?
Well, they had talked. I'd heard a rumor like, oh maybe they'll do the lottery like around the All Star break,
Yeah,
and then that way there won't be tanking and things like that. I think if people want to avoid tanking, I don't know how you feel, Eric. I just take the weighted situation away. Like just everybody gets one shot, just like the old days, and that way you don't get the talk of people trying to get more ping pong balls. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, does that not make it fair? I mean, it kind of, we've had so many teams who had the worst odds to get the number one pick, get the number one pick. The whole notion of weighted ping pong balls, it kind of really doesn't matter anymore if we're looking at tanking being such a big problem, right?
yeah. Well, they had the more flattened odds, and then uh, Minnesota or not Minnesota, but the Orlando Magic ended up winning it
Yeah.
the year after. Like there's been they always overreact to stuff happening. I think in the NBA, and
Like Dallas wins. Yeah.
yeah, and I think the NBA got really unfortunate with Dallas winning last. Not necessarily unfortunate in terms of him going to Dallas. I think that was fine NBA wise for after what happened with them trading Luca to get Cooper or whatever, but just the perception of it being rigged
Well,
by them being the one team that
well,
moved up
or
to one. Like,
or the Cavs, like when
yeah,
LeBron leaves and the Cavs get the number one pick. I mean,
yeah.
3 out of 4 years.
But
Hey, Elizabeth.
yeah, it's a case where I think the NBA just needs to they need to find a way to flatten it a little bit and prevent tanking. But the problem with just making it completely even for all the non-playoff teams. So the Blazers right now, right? Would Why would they not lose the play-in on purpose if they had a chance to get whatever.
If they had like a 1 in 14 shot.
Yeah, like if all non-playoff teams had the exact same thing, I'm taking the
Mhm.
playoff game because we have just as good a chance as anyone then to get Cam Boozer or AJ Dabonsa or Darren Peterson. Like, sign me up for that.
Yeah.
So that I don't know if that necessarily helps. Um, I saw one idea that I actually really like, and that's having a different lottery system every year, but not telling anyone what the
Oh
lottery
God.
system is. So then at the end of the season, you find out what the lottery is, and then so you could get absolutely screwed by tanking, or you could get like rewarded. Like you would never know. So like, what would be the point of tanking? Because like you might end up with a lottery that has all the same odds for every team that didn't make it or whatever, or they might reward a team that at one point in the season, like the All-Star break, went for the lottery instead of didn't. But then that would just, I know that would just lead to more people thinking it's rigged or
Who,
whatever.
whoever hits the game-winning shot in the All-Star game, your team gets the number one pick or something.
Yeah,
Like just that's hilarious. Yeah, I think I saw somebody's comment in the chat. I'm paraphrasing what they said, but yeah, I am. I do get a little irritated with the reactionary stuff. Like, what are we going to change it every single time? Like, let's just pick a path and go with it, as opposed to like all these drastic changes. But yeah, the suggestion that I heard about the draft being the draft lottery being worked out at the All-Star break or by the All-Star break, I was just like, oh, that's just insane to me.
yeah.
Like that's crazy talk.
I do feel like there should be some sort of, like, I don't know how you do that. Like, I don't know how you put it into writing for a thing, but let's just say there's a team that's, let's just say two teams are tied for 11th around the All-Star break, and one of them goes on a run and makes the play-in but loses. The other one like tanks and falls down to like 13th in their conference or something. I almost feel like there should be a thing like, no, this team went for it, they should be rewarded and get more lottery than this team, but you can't like say, you can't just put that into like a defined lottery system. So, but like,
Yeah, and then you're gonna have situations where there are guys legitimately hurt
yeah,
towards the end of the season, feeling a certain pressure by the organization to play, and then you're gonna get somebody like getting hurt, and then there's gonna be all the. I mean, I can, every scenario is not bulletproof, obviously. So there's perils with any choice that you make. But I could just see that scenario happening too, where guys are being pressured to play. And then again, on Friday, you made a great comment when you were talking about this dynamic of you've got guys, if you create a scenario where you want to reward teams for playing hard at the end of the year so they get a better draft pick, but what you may be playing for as a player is your replacement. Like
yeah.
that's a little strange. So
Well, that Pacers game aside, which was really weird, I don't feel um, like I never watch a game and feel like, oh, these players on the court definitely don't want to win this game. They're trying to miss on purpose and lose this game.
of
Like,
course,
that's
yeah.
usually not what happens. Now, J Huff missing those two free throws and all the stuff that happened before that in that Pacers game, that kind of questioned that theory a little bit. But I really don't think.
Well, typically it's just coaches and organizations kind of
Yeah,
fudging with minutes and things like that to not put the best product on the court to win the game. That's how they do it.
yeah. I just, I kind of like the, and I know it's not perfect, but I did the only suggestion I've kind of been like, that's interesting on, is having a minimum amount of games you have to win in order to have the top lottery odds. and
Oh, that's interesting.
and so like right now, with a certain amount of games left, if um if like Washington, who we played tonight, like who are the worst teams? Washington, Sacramento, and whatever. Like with 7 games left, if they still had to win like 4 games to qualify at this point, they'd be playing their butts off, right? Like they'd be playing all their main guys and stuff, and so like I don't know if that solves it at all, but I think it does. It would create a lot of scenarios where some of these bottom feeder teams were still at least trying to win games because they have no reason to lose games at this point of the season.
How about we just we put the owners in a room and we just throw a pool cue on the floor and say we're going to have tryouts. Just let them, just a death sport. like let these billionaires really go to battle for what they want.
Yeah. Well,
I would take that.
here's the other thing is like, I mean, I talked about this on Friday, but there's other sports that just give it to the worst record, like NFL.
Yeah.
Like you could do that. I do. Obviously,
I think you could I think you could do the old way, which was everybody gets one try, but you draw for like the first three picks.
Mhm.
So obviously the first draw is for the number one pick.
Yeah.
Then you take that number out, and then you still go for two and three because typically in a draft, like your top three or top four are your prime spots. So you still have some luck of the draw. It's not all done with the first pick, and then it just goes in order of what the records were. Like I could see kind of keeping a little bit of the current, but again, just taking away the weighted ping pong balls. I could see something like that working.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. I mean, I don't know because you might still have like if you had the worst record, then you might be like, well, worst I could be is fourth, so I might as well keep losing, right? So maybe you go to
yeah.
like six so like the worst record gets the seventh pick or something if they don't get one of the top six, and then
Oh, okay. I see that.
so like just expand a little bit to make it so it's not quite as rewarding to still lose all your games. But yeah, I think that would definitely help like at this point of the season with teams. And the other thing it would help with, Rich, is it's not only like just watching teams play hard, but uh, just take a team like Utah, right? Now, who knows how many injuries they have are legit or not, but let's just pretend that you know, they have Jaren Jackson get a lump in his knee removed that is not causing any pain and is not doing anything structurally to his knee, but they just
Mhm.
decide he needs to have this removed so he misses the rest of the season type injuries. Let's
Right.
just say they played everyone. Like, how much better would they be next year if Keontae George and Laurie Markkinen and Jaren Jackson got to play together another 20 games this season and just their development going into next season? I think it would help with that. So any system that leads to more players playing, I think, is what the NBA is going to do. I just feel like they're
Yeah.
going to go way too overboard and make it way too drastic, and it's going to be really stupid. And it's going to fix that part of the problem, but it's going to completely ruin the draft, in my opinion, and the
Yeah,
lessons
it's going
on
to
this.
create others. Yeah.
Um,
Hey, completely out of nowhere. Did you hear the NBA history that happened today?
I'm not sure.
Toronto Raptors went on the
Oh,
longest run in NBA history.
I did see that. What, 31 nothing?
31 nothing run.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So just a little nugget for the chat. I'm
Mm.
sure they all know that, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I heard that today. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
So
the Raptors ended up it was something crazy, like they went on like 120 to 60 run or something like that.
oh my god.
Yeah.
That sounds like us against OKC or something like that.
They're
Um,
playing the Magic. So the Magic completely.
that's pretty crazy to be because the Magic. I mean, they're right there in the standings with them. Um, what is your because I probably won't be on here by the time the season is over again. Um, what is your finals pick this year? We haven't talked about this. Who you got making the finals?
Um I think it's going to be OKC Boston.
Okay, Yeah, I was kind of thinking that today. If I had to, because I think it's going to be hard for the Spurs. Although the Spurs have given the Thunder a load of trouble,
Yeah.
so I would not be shocked if the Spurs got in there. I would also not be shocked. Well, obviously, I mean, with Tatum coming back, and Boston has been, I mean, kudos to them for holding the fort together until he came back. I would also not be surprised to see Cleveland make the finals.
Yeah.
Like, Cleveland
This.
kind of has a sweet pathway to the finals if they hang on to that 4 seed. I tell Alex Wolf this all the time. If they hang on to that 4 seed, play Toronto in the first round, I think you kind of want to avoid the Hawks at this point. But play Toronto in the first round, probably gentlemen sweep that. Then you play Detroit in the second round, and then you hope that the Celtics and Knicks have beat themselves all to heck by the time you get to the conference finals. Like I could see Cleveland making the finals. I could see that. But if I had to, put money on something, I would probably agree with you. I would probably say OKC and what'd you say? OKC and Boston.
Yeah.
That's what you said. Yeah, that's probably the right way to go.
Tatum had his best game today since coming back.
Ah, okay.
30 some points.
Crazy.
See, I'm looking at it like in the East, you have two teams, Cleveland and New York. If they don't, and it's not possible for both of them to get it done this year, but if neither of those teams get it done this year, I don't think it's ever happening for either of those two teams.
Okay, I get
this,
that.
This is a year like it's wide open for whatever team, like comes out of that, and so I have a hard time thinking that they'll have a better shot either of those two teams than this year right now.
If you had to think of a dark horse Western Conference team who could do some damage, would you go Nuggets? Probably not the Lakers, right?
I mean, a lot of people say that about the Lakers. I don't know, man. We've seen Luka do it before, and LeBron still good enough to help them. But
oh, by the way, real quick, to people in chat who are ripping on Harden, I completely agree with you. I mean, and for a guy way past his prime but still incredibly productive, until Harden does it, I would never predict that Harden does it. um, I think that the support that he has on that Cleveland team, it helps him. But you guys in chat are absolutely right. That James Harden critical game where he has 7 points and is just kind of blankly staring off into space, that game is coming. It's just a matter of will they be able to sustain that. But yes, I completely agree, chat. Like Harden is just a disaster waiting to happen. So that's the reason why I wouldn't pick Cleveland, but I could certainly see them from a talent standpoint going on a run as a dark horse. That's all that I meant to say. But I would definitely pick Boston over them in a series, but would not be shocked if somehow they pulled it off, because I really like Mobley and I really like Mitchell a lot.
Someone in chat saying Nuggets aren't dark horse, though. I mean, they kind of are. Come on.
Even though yeah, I mean, from the top two, yeah. I mean, what are they now, like sixth, fifth, or sixth?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think a 6 seed is kind of a dark horse kind of thing.
I mean, would I be surprised if the Spurs did it? I mean, no, they've been so good these last couple months. I mean, Wemby is unbelievable. But yeah, I don't know. I think they're still maybe a year away from establishing themselves. I think they're going to have to take their lumps in the playoffs after not making it last year.
I see a few people in chat saying the Wolves, are we being disrespectful of the Wolves because they've made the conference finals 2 years in a row? I like how Minnesota's playing. I just kind of see them coming up short when it comes to, I mean, they very well could win a couple of rounds and make it to the conference finals again. I just don't see them coming out of the West. Not yet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I mean, it was they've had nothing left in the conference finals. You know, like it's been so hard for them to get there. So it's a
Yeah.
team that's like it's so reliant on a couple players, and um, you know, it's just tough to maintain that game in and game out. But I mean, they are. I mean, like mentioned, they've made it twice in a row to the conference finals. So if they made that jump to the finals, that also wouldn't be surprising either.
Yeah.
Don
I
says
think
the
it's going to be
Hornets are
fun.
scary. Yeah, I wouldn't. That's the team in the East I do not want to play if I'm one of the top seeds.
Really? So wait, would you be more fearful of the Hornets or the Hawks?
Um, I think I'd rather play the Hawks in a series.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh wow. Okay.
but I mean the Hawks. What? Oh, let me look at the seeding right now.
I mean the Hawks are like I think in fifth or sixth.
Well, see,
I know.
that's different because I'm talking about like one of the playing teams. Hawks fell to sixth tonight, so after the
Okay.
Toronto win. So
Okay.
as of right now, it would be New York, Atlanta. Um, but yeah, of the playing teams, Philly, Orlando. I guess Philly's kind of scary if Embiid plays, but I mean, who knows
If
there?
Embiid plays,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
If if
Philly,
Odin
Orlando,
if
Miami, Charlotte. I don't want to play Charlotte. I'd rather play any of the other teams than them.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. I mean Charlotte, they're super scary. I mean they. It's kind of crazy, all the talk about potentially trading Melo and things like that. And now all of a sudden, like they're kind of clicking.
Yeah.
So they're fun to watch. Um, uh,
I have something to ask you.
yeah,
And this
please.
particular person in chat's gonna love this conversation.
Okay. And then I mean, me personally, I don't know how long you intended to go
Yeah.
tonight or what have you, but me personally, I gotta get going here pretty
Okay.
soon. But
All
but
right.
yeah, but whatever this conversation is, like, please.
All right. Did you see the Pat Beverly comments?
No.
Oh.
What are the Pat Beverly comments?
Pat Beverly the other day said that Damian Lillard is not a Hall of Famer. Your thoughts, Rich?
I mean, did he was he at the club when he said it?
No, I was on his like
Was
podcast
this
or
an
whatever.
Instagram live? I mean, look, some of the biggest attention that Pat Bev ever got was clowning Dame in the bubble, right?
Yeah.
So this just strikes me as more of the same. Um, that's just, I mean, that's hilarious. I mean, that's just he cannot be serious with that.
Yeah.
It's got to be just for clicks and trolling and like
Hmm.
all that. Like, I mean, has there been any response from Dame, which I'm sure would just be like laughing emojis or whatever?
I didn't
Like,
see any response
okay.
from Dame, but it was like the talk of a lot of other NBA podcasts and stuff. But
Now,
yeah.
did this get any traction?
Yeah, it
Like,
got this was like a huge thing on social media. A
oh
couple of days ago.
God.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, social media is stupid.
And he doubled down, or yeah, yeah,
I mean, look, it's a Blazers channel, right? We love the Blazers. I love Dame. You love Dame. But I mean, he's a top 75 player. He's had these great individual moments, not only in the regular season, but postseason series winning shots, things like that. Like I I could not craft the argument that he's not a Hall of Famer.
no,
Like even just to play devil's advocate, like I can't even think of what that would be. That is funny
it's
though. That's
like okay. So obviously we have someone in chat that absolutely hates Dame, doesn't
Oh,
want him to
okay.
come back next year, is in
Okay.
almost every stream. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and So his argument would be that he never won anything with Giannis. Oh, how's Giannis doing without Dame this year, by the way? Pretty good.
Yeah, they
Not
were
even a
they were. I
playoff
mean,
team without Dame.
yeah, they were terribly snake bit. I mean, not to make excuses for the Bucks, but they from an injury standpoint, they were really snake bit those 2 seasons.
Yeah, Giannis won a ring. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, was Reggie Miller a Hall of Famer? Was Charles Barkley a Hall of Famer? Patrick Ewing, John Stockton, Karl Malone? Like, I mean, are we going to do this? You know, like that's just yeah. I mean, you cannot be a fan of the guy, but you know, at the end of the day, he's a bona fide Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, would you put would you okay would people like it it would be kind of funny if there were ever like, well, like the Hall of Fame becomes a contest. It's either this person or this person, and to a certain extent it is, because they only let in a certain amount of people. But is Russell Westbrook a Hall of Famer before Dame? I i wouldn't say that. you know Now, he's had statistical seasons that are phenomenal, but would we say that just because he went to one finals that Russell Westbrook, promotes winning more than Damian Lillard does? I mean, I don't know.
With Kevin
Uh,
Durant, like Dame.
yeah,
If
yeah.
if Dame had Kevin Durant his first whatever 10 years in the league or however long it was, you don't think they're getting a little further in the playoffs?
So I saw a comment. Maybe this is the guy that you're talking about, but it said Dame could shoot. Yes, never won. Hollow stats. I mean, I don't know, man. Those couple of seasons where he had LaMarcus, which LaMarcus leaving was not his fault. I mean, well, maybe there's a bit of an argument to be said for certain billboards in town upsetting LaMarcus Aldridge. So maybe in his mind it was Dame's fault, but Dame was hitting a lot of big shots and not getting hollow stats when he was a 20-point per game guy, being a secondary player to LaMarcus Aldridge, who was our number one, but I don't think that we would necessarily say that LaMarcus was across the league a number one, right? I mean, it's not like LaMarcus was a superstar, but I didn't think Dame put up hollow stats during those 3 seasons. So, you know, yeah, I mean, agree to disagree, I would say.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. So I just want to clarify. I don't think Rich was saying that Dame is like top 20 all time or anything like that.
Oh no, I'm
But
not. No, I'm not saying that. Why did
but
somebody say that I'm saying that?
no, he's just saying he doesn't. People are saying that he's not in the Karl Malone conversation like that kind
Oh
of.
no, well, of course
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
No, my point was, if we're just gonna say somebody's got a ring, so they're in the Hall of Fame, like that's not the right
Mm.
metric to base a Hall of Fame career on. That's all that I meant by that. I'm not saying that, you know, as great as those players were, I'm not necessarily saying Dame's on the same level. I'm just doing the ring
Mm.
conversation thing. Yeah, that's all I meant.
See, this. Oh man,
What? What?
I just I. Side note: I cannot stand when people act this way. It's such disrespectful, stupid ass, rude behavior, and it drives me crazy, dude.
I tried
I
to be nice today.
I respect Rich's opinion as he should respect mine as well. All you do is say Dame is trash, Dame sucks, Dame's never won anything, Dame blah 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 sucks, I hate Dame. That's all you ever say. That's not you're just we don't have to respect that because there's no nuance to your conversation. You never say Dame did okay considering the circumstances here. It's no, Dame was trash. He sucks. Blah blah blah. So yeah, that's not something that we have to respect of yours. That's just stupid. Okay.
I'll say this. I'll say that, and I mean, I haven't seen this, so I don't know about this ongoing beef or anything like that. What I will say is this: Dame is a volume shooter, right? He's a volume shooter for a small guard. Not everybody likes that. We had Gray Hughes in here all the time, who didn't like it.
He was hugely efficient.
And maybe that's not your, maybe he's not your style of player, and I can take that and go, yeah, okay, not for you.
See.
Like, and respect that. I can respect that if he's just not for you. There are certain players in the league, like throughout my lifetime, but also just like current players in the league where I'm like, oh man, it's tough to watch that guy play and things like that. But I know that he's great, but he's just not my thing, like whatever. So I can respect somebody being like, I don't like that person's game. It doesn't appeal to me. I'll respect that. But just in terms of like a Hall of Fame career, statistics, accomplishments, things like that, like, come on. Like, the guy's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And so that's not being disrespectful of your
worst
opinion.
Defender ever. Of all time, Rich.
Well, I mean,
if you don't respect that opinion, then you don't respect opinions.
You never really saw me play, so I would beg to differ. Maybe not the worst defender ever.
This is so dumb, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
no, it's see, this is where people are dead wrong. It's not that you have a disagreement. Rich said it perfectly. If you had a conversation like I just wasn't a fan of this or whatever, that's not what you do. What Rich is explaining is not the type of person you are, Gregory. You are the complete opposite of that. You constantly do this crap where you make these arguments. You've been banned multiple times, and I'm sick of it, dude. Either stop doing it, stop having these stupid, pointless things where you manipulate chat every stream, or I'm just going to keep banning you every time you make a new account. It's ridiculous, dude. That's not what is happening, and you are literally acting so disrespectful to everyone in the chat. You do it all the time, and this is nothing to do with agreeing to disagree or whatever you're talking about. So stupid.
So,
and Rich,
this was good. This was good fun.
I would make the argument Dame accomplished more with less than 90% of players in NBA history. Like, there aren't many players that could have made the playoffs 8 straight years with some of the rosters Dame had. And so to say that he didn't win a title, so he sucks, like, that is, like I said, that just brings no context and no nuance to the complete to the situation. So it's just... when
they lost LaMarcus, when LaMarcus left, and then it was the mass exodus, right? Like a lot of the guys left, and we fielded like almost a brand new team that next season. I remember thinking to myself, like, feeling bad for Dame and feeling like, man, Dame is really put in a bad situation. And look at what he did with that set of circumstances. And he turned himself into, and it was by necessity because the team needed a leader. It now took its second leading scorer, and he needed to become the leading scorer. But then alongside of, the NBA's most improved player that next season in CJ McCollum, them becoming this really high scoring backcourt that didn't defend. Yes, we understand that. But I mean, I just think when you look at the set of circumstances that was dumped upon him going into his 4th season, right on the verge of being, I think, 26 years old, and you could almost say Dame was a victim of his own, whatever superlatives we want to call it. I'm trying not to get called out here for being too much of a fanboy, but he was almost a victim of his own excellence or greatness or whatever word we want to put on it, because the team never bottomed out, like, for all of those years. And that was only because of how much of the load that he carried. What other all-star was he playing with for all of those years that he was making the playoffs? Yes, they were making it as a lower seed and they weren't really going on long playoff runs until you get to 2019. And of course, 2019 will always be the season where what if Nurk didn't get hurt, so on and so forth. But like in terms of your comment, what he did with the little amount that he had, and I'm not trying to disparage any of the players that have been on our roster, but it's just a fact. The guy, once LaMarcus left, he did not play with an all-star here. I think it's pretty hard to ding the guy for what he accomplished because it what Dame did was not empty calorie scoring on a losing team.
Mm-hmm.
They needed every single one of those points that he was scoring every night that got them into a 3 seed or a 3 seed twice, and then some of the lower seeds, like they were only qualifying for that because of the load that he carried and how he delivered, being the number one goal of every single defense that he went up against.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a Hall of Fame player.
Yeah,
but,
agreed.
So.
Yep. Agreed.
But anyway, well, hey, this was great fun.
Rich, thanks. Sorry, got a little crazy there at the end, but
that's okay.
Appreciate you joining us tonight. And for those that don't know, Rich and I have another channel. It's called Rip City Retro. Rich posts videos when he can on there.
Yeah, it's been really hard for me lately. The last video that we did, I really loved it. It's on the channel if you guys want to go and look at the last video that I posted. It's Eric and I talking about heartbreaking Blazers statistics that are pretty crazy and things like that. So love doing that video. Always love whenever we get a chance to, chat things up, Eric. And it was great to see everybody in the chat. I'm sorry because of my vision and things like that. I can only catch a comment here or there. But if anybody said hi and I didn't say hi back to you, I'm so sorry. But I love the community here, and so many of you guys have wandered over to Rip City Retro and said nice things. So it's great to see everybody. I hope you enjoy the rest of the regular season and the play-in games as well. And, maybe I'll put something up on Rip City Retro around the play-in game time. But, to everybody here in the chat, just thanks for letting me hang out with you guys today.
Thanks for coming on, Rich. Glad you're doing well enough. I know it's not perfect, but well enough to actually sit here and do a stream with me.
Yeah, I'm about to pass out.
I know you're about to pass out, but you made it. Good job, and thanks for you actually watched. You were able to watch the game and do a stream, so good job. But yeah,
maybe a little bit of radio, and then watch radio and watch radio watch. Yeah.
All right. Well, you have a good night, Rich. Hope your week is good, and I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Okay. And so are you gonna say goodbye to everybody and I'm just out?
I'll cut you for a second and then I'll go solo for a few minutes.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna bounce.
All right.
I'm out. Go Blazers.
Have a good night.
See you guys.
Rich.
Take care, man. I'm gonna go climb the wall.
All right. Got that. All right. So, I'm probably going to stay on for a few more minutes, but just wanted to, in the stream, talking to you for a little bit longer. Dawn asks, am I a bigger Trailblazer fan or a bigger 49ers fan? Well, I love both teams, but, Portland I grew up in the Portland area. Lived in Oregon my whole life, so seeing the Blazers win a championship would obviously be the most impactful thing as a sports fan that could happen. Obviously, I would love if my other teams won it too, but I have had the chance to see the Niners win 5 in my lifetime. I was 15 or so, I think, the last time they won. So it's been a long time, um, but yeah, the Blazers winning a championship would mean the most to me as a sports fan. The next game is against the Clippers, on Tuesday. I agree, Chris. There should be no conversation about whether Dame is a Hall of Famer or not. But that being said, I mean, I hope the 49ers win the Super Bowl next year. A little jealous of you Seahawk fans that got to see another Super Bowl victory. That's 2 now for you guys. Should be 3, but yeah. Congrats to you guys. Suns or Clips better to play in the play-in? If it was any other team than the Blazers, I'd probably say the Clippers would be the better team, but I had no confidence in us beating the Clippers. So I'm going to say the Suns for one game, just take my chances there. If Dylan's back, that might be kind of hard, but yeah, it should be okay. Is Clyde Drexler estranged from the Trailblazers? I never see or hear him from him. Yeah, I wouldn't say estranged. I guess that word kind of fits, but there was a falling out between him and ownership. Maybe now that there's going to be a new ownership, maybe they can bring him back into the mix and have him be a part of the organization again. But I feel like he's also kind of used that as an excuse over the years. I don't think he had a chance to come back. They celebrated one of the 90s teams recently, and he chose not to come and then made a bunch of excuses about it. But yeah. But yeah, I mean, hopefully someday, but it hasn't been the same since he got traded. And just for the record, the Blazers did trade him to the team he wanted to go to, the situation he wanted to be in. Took less back to get him to go there. And yeah, I feel like he is a little ungrateful over the years, starting with when he was announced as one of the top 50 players of all time. All the players came out with a team they represented on their jacket, and he was known as like the Blazers franchise back then, and have only been on the Rockets for like a year or two at the time. Came out in that Rockets jersey instead of or Rockets jacket instead of a Blazer jacket, and it's never really been the same since. I don't know. Marv, shut up. That's not what I meant at all. Do not try to make it into that conversation. That's also being ridiculous. And so Don said he recently said he's a Trailblazer first. Yeah, I don't buy that at all. He is trying to change what happened back to favoring him, so people don't wonder why he doesn't get involved. And so yeah, you can say that all he wants, but it's not what his actions show. Not cool, Marv. Not cool. Thought you were better than that. Yeah, his son hates on the Blazers too. Yeah, his son made a bunch of excuses for him, but really there was no excuse for. I mean, even Terry Stotts did a little video after he got fired, congratulating Dame on becoming the leading scorer in franchise history. So for Clyde to not take 1 minute to do a little video, it was kind of bush league in my opinion. There was no excuse for Clyde's coat. Yep, I completely agree. So that's one thing. If if you ever watch Rip City Retro, I kind of joke about this. So we have several videos. Rich and I, the guy who joined me for this show, we have several videos about like the heartache of a Blazer fan and stuff like that. And I always joke about the Blazers like kind of being cursed by Clyde, because we were first in the West the night we retired his jersey, and ended up just completely falling apart that season. But yeah, Bill Walton wore the Trailblazers jacket despite there being a lot of bad feelings, and Bill refused to come back to Portland and be a part of anything for a while too. Luckily, that bridge was mended, and Bill became a great ambassador for Blazers basketball. But yeah, I was also there when they retired his jersey that night. Yep, we played the Grizzlies, and we had just signed Rod Strickland and Detlef Schrempf that day. Yeah. But no, we have a bunch of videos like our top 10 heartaches as a Blazer fan. Um, we talked about trades. We had a stream where we went through all the like draft lottery history of the Blazers and the draft lottery itself. Um, yeah, there was a lot of cool videos Rich and I did. Yeah, so if you're just interested in more of like talking about history, and Rich is a great resource. Even though I'm almost the same age as him, like where he just remembers so much, so many more details about those. Like I can remember a lot if I go back and remind myself or watch an old game or something. But and of course I remember the major things, but there's like details about what happened in like the second quarter of game 2 of the second round of the 1989 playoffs or something that Rich remembers. So he's just really awesome in those conversations and those videos about just history of the Blazers. So if you're interested in like kind of just hearing people talk about them and reliving them, or if you weren't around for those moments and just want to be more informed on the history of the Blazers, I think Rip City Retro is a really good channel for that kind of content. What's the biggest beef you've had in the history of the channel? Man, Allison's trying to get me into something here. I don't know. Yep. Todd says he got an autograph from Clyde after warm-ups at a game his rookie season. Man, so yeah, I just said a lot about Clyde, but when he was here on the Blazers, he was my favorite Blazer. I grew up with those teams, and uh, I had a chance to like meet him as a kid several times, get his autograph. Like, couldn't have been any nicer. And all those guys, man. Terry Porter, Jerome Kersey, like Cliff Robinson, rest in peace on those last two. Those guys were just such great guys. And it's Duckworth too, man. Duckworth, Kersey, and Cliff I used to see around town often, and just anytime you saw them were just always nice to whoever they ran into. Just really cool guys, and it's sad that the three of them are gone, but yeah, they couldn't have represented Portland any better. And always have a lot of respect for guys who stuck around Portland after they retired and tried their best to be good ambassadors for the city and stuff. Just really good dudes. Yeah, the older school Blazers used to like the '70s Blazers used to be all over town. They had some like a alumni team that used to go out and scrimmage parents from like high schools and middle schools back in the day as like fundraisers. And yeah, I remember my mom playing in a game against like a bunch of people from the championship team or something, and or like one of the first Blazer teams, and that was pretty cool. David thinks Jeremy Grant will stick around Portland. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it seems like he likes the Portland vibe, but he's also like a big fashion guy, so I could see him going somewhere in that regard too. But um, ever been rejected by a player to sign a jersey? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I was. There was just nowadays it's kind of weird. It's just kind of random. Um, Unless you're going to like an actual autograph signing event. Um, but I've seen Dame sign a ton of autographs. I've seen, man, Denny's had some like crazy crowds waiting for him at games. I've seen him sign some. Um, but yeah, it's I don't remember. Because like back in the day, there was like no rules. I remember I've told this story before. I don't know if it's on this channel, but it might have been on Rip City Retro. But um, I remember the Blazers played the Lakers, and um, like not the shower part, but I remember just walking down to like the Lakers locker room, and I got like all their autographs, Magic, um, Worthy, all those guys, like their autographs, and just like right there where like in their locker room, and yeah, like when they were walking out to the bus and stuff, and um, there used to be a group that would wait outside by the Blazers cars after the game. That was just out in this open parking lot. There wasn't like a parking garage, and yeah, so um, I don't know. It was just like way different back then. I don't remember doing that and having someone be like, "No, get out of here, kid," So yeah, um, so I had this like little autograph book, and I would take it to every game I went to, and yeah. MGJJ with a $15 donation. Thank you so much. He says, "Thank you for all the shows after every Blazer game. They're very enjoyable." Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you saying that and for the donation. Um, but yeah, it's got to do it after every game, right? It's our commitment. We used to do Monday, Thursday weekly shows throughout the season too. It's been a little harder with both Tori and my schedules to do those, but those will pick back up again in the off season, so we'll have that. And of course, we'll have draft coverage and free agency coverage here coming up in June. So stay tuned for that. If we're in the lottery, we'll have a stream for the lottery or revealing, and then we'll also have we'll also have post game for a playing game because the Blazers have clinched a playing game. So, but yeah. But yeah, that's going to do it for this show. I appreciate all of you for hanging out with myself and with Rich. And once again, thank you to Rich for joining me. And it's always fun to have him on the show. Tori should be back on Tuesday for that stream. The Blazers need that win. They're playing the Clippers. Hopefully they get that victory because If not, that pretty much ends any chance they have of moving up into that top playing game. So yeah, unfortunately, it's pretty much a must win if they want that 8 seed. So we'll see if the Blazers can show up and get it done. Looks like they're still going to be without several guys. Jeremy, Shaden, out probably for sure that game. I seriously doubt that either will come back. I'm assuming Beat will still be out. So hopefully, the guys that are left can take over. Scoot started tonight. I assume if it's the same injury wise on Tuesday that he'll start again. But yeah, hopefully we have enough guys to take down the Clippers because that's a huge game and one that we need to have. But anyways, we'll talk to you after that game. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you to all who participated in chat as well. Always enjoy the conversation, even when people are being ridiculous or a certain person is being ridiculous in chat. I still appreciate everyone showing up and participating. So thank you, and hope you all have a good night. I'll see you Tuesday after the Blazers hopefully beat the Clippers. Anyways, have a good night, everyone. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.